You have a question. You have a question. You have a question. I have an answer. Hey you guys, welcome to another episode of Ask James. Listen, I'm not going to waste a lot of time. This is a longer letter, so we're going to jump right in. I definitely do ask when we do this that you keep it pretty short and sweet. Yeah, keep it pretty short and sweet. Proofread when you put these things together, and we could actually move through it pretty quickly. But this one, it's a little longer, but it's okay. It's okay. Come on, we're going to get into this. We're going to read this and see what I have to say about what's going on here. Hey, Mr. James, I am currently a 19-year-old college student. Recently, I've really been struggling because I realized my mother is abusive. When I was younger, I remember her accusing me of wanting problems in my life, slapping me repeatedly while holding me by my shirt with both her hands and pulling me so hard that we were nose to nose screaming, "Who the you talking to?" Has called me a heifer once, threatened to beat me like an adult, to stomp a mud hole in me for trying to explain a bad grade I got in a class senior year, and a lot more. I'm gonna hold on to what I'm thinking, and I'm just going to continue on here because I got some things to say already. Yeah, I'm going to hold on to it. Okay, here we go. Freshman year of high school, when we got into an argument, she grabbed me by my shirt. As I tried to push her off me and walk away and calm down, she threw me so hard on the bed that my head hit the dresser. She even told me she would bash my head in the car window if I didn't shut up, after I was kicked out of an alternative school. Last year, after my grandparents died, she was so angry that I came home late one night. She strangled me, clawed her nails in my skin as hard as she could, raised her hand at me, and even threatened to take the insurance off my car if I tried to leave, and slammed the house door so hard the locks broke after she told me to leave. Okay. In her mind, she does not believe she is wrong and always would guilt trip me, deny things, make me feel like I am exaggerating, and has even said she doesn't care if my brother and I have an issue with how she was when we were younger. She says, "Oh well, I did the best I could," and uses the same excuse for my grandmother to justify the abuse she endured as a child. She justifies how she treated me because she had 3 jobs without the support of my father. She would trash him around me and even told me, "I don't see why you're upset. There are other black kids struggling with the same issue," when I cried about my dad not being there. Months after strangling and trying to kill me, she told me that she was taking accountability for her actions, but would not apologize for something she did while she was grieving. Ever since that day, I have not given her a kiss and hug since, and I'm filled with such rage every time I see her that it hurts me so bad that she can be so delusional that everything is fine after all the things she has done to me. She will even justify it by implying I deserved it because I talked back, when really I was just trying to defend myself in the midst of her terrifying temper as a kid, and always tried to explain myself to no avail, only to be berated even more. Right now, I am starting my second year at community college on a full ride scholarship, and am trying to keep my grades up so I can transfer after this year and be far away from her. My repressed anger has gotten so bad that my repressed anger has gotten so bad that I now go to therapy behind her back and no longer even say I love you. I pretend to be interested in what she says, only speak to her if I have to, and do not hang out with her at all. Am I wrong for feeling such strong anger and hate towards my own mother? How do I deal with this appropriately? Do I cut her off once I move out after graduating college and get a restraining order? Am I required to honor my parent and give them even when they show no remorse and disregard my feelings? I have even kept pictures of when she strangled me for evidence if she ever snaps again, on my own safety. My therapist has even given me a domestic violence shelter card in case. I work a part-time job while in school and keep myself busy being involved with many clubs at school and go to the gym to be away from her. Sorry for this long email. It has been just eating me alive every day to feel this hurt. Please help. Okay. Okay. All right. You're not going to be very happy with everything I have to say. You're not. You're just not going to be happy because you're 19. So that's part of it. That's part of it. You're 19. I'm 49. Okay. So in that, I'm going to tell you right now, some of what is going on, you're not going to understand until you actually become a parent yourself. Some of it, it's just what I know from the walk. Some of it, some of this that has gone on, you won't understand until you become a parent. It just is what it is. Now, I'm not saying that your mother is correct in her physical stuff. But the physical thing aside, I get a lot of, you have displaced anger. You're angry as hell at your mother about your father not being present in your life. You do realize your father is an adult, right? Your father's an adult. Now, I agree. One thing that you don't do as a parent is trash another parent, because this happens. The child will resent you for doing it. They'll resent you. It will turn on you. You're not doing yourself any favors by trashing the parent that's not there, because truly the child, it's just some kind of way that we're wired. The child will basically flip it and take it out on you, and everything will be your fault. The other parent will be so golden in their eyes. One thing I didn't hear, because you went so in detail about certain things, one thing I didn't see anything here that said that your mother kept your father from being around you. So that's on your father. That's not on your mother. So any anger that you have around your father not being, that ain't your mother. That's your father. That's misplaced anger. And the fact, I think it's a good thing that you are in some type of counseling. And I promise you, y'all are going to get around to that. If you stick with your counseling and your therapy, y'all are going to get around to that, because some of that is displaced. Because you have, I was trying to figure it out as we were going through why do you have these things with your mother? I mean, it's like you're bad. All I got in here, it seems to me, baby, you've been battling with your mother like you was a grown woman for a long time. So some of how your mother handles you, some of it has to do with the way you handle your mother. When you're saying that your mother snatched you up and you basically are like, you're tussling with your mother, is what I read. You said like, I was pushing her up off of me and I was getting away from her to walk away from her. And so you're being as physical with your mother as she is with you. So what do you expect? What do you expect? If you buck at your mother, I'm sitting here reading, and again, I'm not condoning the physicality of the interactions with your mother, but it doesn't seem strange to me that if you're bucking at her, that she would say things to you like, I'll bust you up like somebody on the street, because guess what you're acting like? You're approaching her like another woman on the street. Even if your mother gets so close to you that y'all are face to face and nose to nose, at the point that you push her out of your face or you maneuver her out of your face, you've just put yourself into a different position. You're not in the parent-child position anymore. You're standing as a teen. Full size. You're full size. Teen. You put yourself in a position like she face to face with another woman. So I could see where things kind of get to where they are. And then there's some things where you said in here, you know, she said, shut up. She's your mother. You're not her mother. Some of this stuff, some of these things are just, it's kind of like respect issues. And nobody's ever saying that life is fair. But you'll run into this kind of thing when word for word with your mother, even when she's wrong. Word for word, back and forth with your mother, it's going to cause a problem. It's going to cause a rift. Y'all are going to be right here. Right here. I mean, you basically are telling me your mother saying something to you. You basically, y'all arguing. Y'all arguing. You're not taking the child role. You're taking the, listen, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay, blah, 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 blah. No. There's nowhere for it to go. There's nowhere for it to go. And I think what I'm trying to say is, take out all of the physical stuff I don't know if you realize you're not your mother's equal. You're not. You're not her equal. She's your mother. As you said here in the letter, my mother this, my mother that, my mother this. You ain't never referred to her by her name. You know why? Because you're not her equal. She's your mother. There's a certain level of respect that you have for your mother. So, no, sometimes even when they're wrong, you gotta let them talk. You just let them talk. And it's just the way it is. But the back and forth, and then I'm hearing, you was a pistol, honey. You did a lot of little stuff here. You know, it wasn't that she just jumped on you for no reason. She just fussed or she just having a fit about nothing. You've been thrown out of schools. You did things that other teenagers they do. But generally when they do them, yeah, their parents get upset. I just don't see flat out abuse for no reason. Again, her physical stuff, again, generational curses. Some people don't believe in spankings and whoopings and things of that nature. It said there that basically your mother does believe in spankings and whoopings, and that's what your grandmother did to her. When she got out of order, she got popped, and you were basically raised the same way. Again, not condoning the physical stuff, and some of the stuff seems to have gone a bit far, but as reading the letter, I could kind of see where it kind of moved like that, because again, you challenged her. You challenged her, and that's kind of where y'all ended up. It's sad. It ain't right. But that's kind of where, where do you go? And then all of this other little stuff, like, you're like compiling things like, to use against her and all of this. This is what I'm going to say. And you think you're punishing her. I'm not talking to her, and I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. All of that. Hey, you feel a certain type of way. I get it. And no, you're 19 years old. You're grown. You're absolutely grown. You don't have to speak to your mother ever again in life if you don't choose to. You're 19. But you know where your problem is? You're using her. You're using her. You basically have told me you don't even like your mother. You don't even like her. Why do you live in her house? You're 19. You have a part-time job, and you basically are living in the house with your mother until you can get yourself together and get out of school and then move on. Anybody who feels as strongly about their mother as you do, I don't want to speak to her, I don't want to do this, I ain't hugging her, I pretend. See, because all of that's disrespect. I pretend to be interested in what she's talking about. You basically don't even like your mother. What I'm reading, you basically walk around and treat your mother like some person off the street who you are using. You're using her to your benefit. You want to get yourself and advance yourself to a certain point, and you'll basically do what you need to do to be able to eat off her back until you get where you want to go. And then once you're done and you get what you need, you'll peel off and you basically don't care whether you talk to her anymore. Does that seem right to you? You're asking me, am I wrong? Do you think that that's right? If you really have the disdain for your mother that you say that you do in this letter, you get out of her house. You're 19. Get out. Get out. You don't have to go to school full time. Go work full time. Go to school part time. That's the adult thing to do. The adult thing, you don't like her, you don't like how she does things. Your escape method was as soon as you turned 18, you were done with all this. Half of this letter didn't even have to exist. Soon as you turned 18, you could have walked out that door and there's not a damn thing she could do about it. and then you don't go to school full-time. You go to school part-time. You go get you a full-time job, and you take care of you. You don't keep taking from her. You don't like her, you don't take from her. You leave her alone. You don't mess with her. Leave her alone. Not once I get what I need, then maybe I won't speak to her no more. No, I'm going to tell you, that's wrong. That's wrong. I mean, you literally said it. You said you have strong anger and hate towards your mother. How do you stay in a house with someone you hate? You hate her. You spoke it. You hate her. Get out of her house. Get out of her house. And I'm not, and again, I don't know how many times I can say it. I'm not condoning not one thing that she did. No, she ain't got no business strangling you. And that was, you went. She strangled and tried to kill me. You put 20 on 10, sis. You put 20 on 10. She ain't strangled and tried to kill you, because if strangled and tried to kill you, the police would have came. You would have been in school the next day. And I don't know who this therapist is that's telling you about holding these things against your mother to use against her later. She's kind of vindictive too. I don't get that. Like, if you feel like you're in imminent danger in all of this, you need to go. You need to go. You need to go. If you really fear your mother to the point where these people are giving you domestic violence shelter cards and you keep going back there voluntarily, that doesn't make sense. You're a year past not got to be there. See, because all of this was a family CPS issue. You know, you say that you were actually abused. That's a CPS issue. You're out of the realm of CPS. You're an old, grown woman at this point. You're grown. Every time you walk back through that door, you're making a conscious choice to be in there with her, and it's taken on a whole different situation. You're basically in here using her. So at the point where you feel like you're being so misused, you're actually misusing your mother at this point. You're using her. You need to, if you really hate her the way you say you do, you're not doing her any favors. She's not doing you any favors. Neither one of you are safe. Neither one of you are safe. You two have been physical with each other for years, it seems, and it's only going to get worse. And truly, I fear for the both of you, because if anybody to write me a letter and say, I hate her and I have such anger toward her and this, that, thing, and the other, what makes you think that one day, if she gets physical, you're not going to get physical? Do you know how fast? Do you know how fast? Because there was one situation in here where you said she threw you on the bed and you hit your head. Do you know how fast that could turn ugly? One of these little tussles that y'all have that ain't really about much of nothing, and one of y'all could fall the wrong way and now you got a body. Could you imagine that? Have you actually thought about that? I fear for you both. I fear for you both, because I doubt it the way that she sounds. I doubt that your mother even thinks that you actually hate her. If you really mean it the way you wrote it. I can't imagine that the woman that you're depicting in the letter is walking around feeling like you really hate her and is even letting you mooch, because that's what you're doing. Mooch off her and use her and her resources to better yourself. Meanwhile, you hate her. That ain't the lady that you depicted in that letter. I think this is a mother who, again, a generational situation of how she was raised, and if there's a physical element to it, she brought that into her raising. And I think when she says, I did the best I could, I believe she did do the best she could. Was it good? Was it bad? Hey, what you do in those situations, break the curse. When you have your children, don't bring that physicality into it. You see where there's an issue, don't bring the physicality into it. Find a different way to parent your children. Which I think that you will, because you have such issues about the way that you were parented that I think that you will break that cycle. But the main thing right now is here. Do I feel? Yes, in the Bible it says honor thy mother and thy father. So yes, you do. As long as you stay on the planet, you owe her respect. You do owe her respect. I don't know what you believe, spiritual wise, but there's some. My mother has made me some kind of angry. Trust me, angry. There's been points in time where me and my mother have not dealt with each other because we didn't see eye to eye, and I was your age. We didn't see eye to eye, and we didn't deal with each other. But what I didn't do, I didn't live off of her. I didn't live with her. I didn't deal. Period. I didn't mooch off my mother. I didn't take things from her. When I was not feeling Miss Mommy, I didn't feel Miss Mommy. This your space, that's your space. I respect her and I keep it moving. Period. That's how I handled it. But no, I just don't. I don't feel good with anybody ever saying they hate someone and taking things from them. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's a very sore spot for me. So I don't like it. In that area, no, I feel like you are completely out of order. Completely out of order. And you are grown. You are grown. You don't have to stay. You can go. You can go. You can switch your schedule around and you can go. You don't have to be there. And you shouldn't. That's why I said I don't. I'm sure you're not liking me very much right now, but it's okay. It's okay. That's the truth. That is the truth as I see it. Anybody that you feel the way you say you feel about your mother here, ain't no way you're supposed to be living in their house. I hope through the therapy and all of that you can work through some of this, because some of this definitely belongs to your mother. Some of this definitely belongs to your mama. Some of the hitting and all of that. Oh yes, that belongs to her. And yes, she needs to be able to hear it and see that didn't work for you. And maybe in time you all can fix that and move forward. That stuff definitely belongs to her. But you must own your part of it. You must. When you were out, see that again, I was out late. You knew you weren't supposed to be out that late. You already had rules that were set. You broke the rules. You broke the rules. And when you break the rules, yeah, she says she would take the insurance off. It always falls back to she was due. You know why she's able to take the insurance off? Because she was paying it. She was paying it. And as long as she's paying, she gets to make the rules. Those are just regular things. You know what I mean? You got kicked out of alternative school. You don't understand why she was pissed? You don't understand why she was pissed. To be in alternative school, you had already screwed up regular school. Am I correct? You already had screwed up regular school. Now you're in an alternative school, and now you done screwed that up. You don't understand why she was pissed? So you got to own your part still. Now, I'm glad that you got it together because you're actually in college now. So somewhere in the midst of that, you got your shit together. And I'm cool with that. But you got to own your part in this. You got thrown out of school. And you don't understand why she's upset? Come on. Come on. Yeah. She slammed the door. Okay. You don't understand why she slammed the door. Come on now. The whole thing about her grieving with the death of your grandparents. Again, you wouldn't understand that until unfortunately you won't understand that grief until she's gone. And I'm sorry, but I don't even know another way to say it to you. You won't understand the grief that your mother felt for your grandparents. And it sounded like they both went did both your grandparents pass on at one time? Your grandparents, you will never understand the grief that your mother felt for her parents. Those are her parents. You sitting on here fussing about your parent, which means your parent is still here. Her parent is gone. You will never understand the grief that she was going through until she's gone. Once she's gone, then you'll be able to tap into that and understand what maybe she was going through at that time. Again, not an excuse, but again, you're not 7, 8, 9 years old. You're a grown woman. You're a grown woman. Some of this stuff, you gotta own your part, sis. You gotta own your part. You gotta, again, some of this you're not gonna get until you become a parent. And it'll just click. I promise you. It will just click. You'll be like, oh, that's why she got mad about that. And I know, because I did it. I did it. And it just, sometimes some things just clicked. Once I was responsible for a young person, completely responsible for a child, some of the things that happened as I was growing up made all the sense in the world to me, where they didn't make sense at all while they were happening. So I don't know. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to leave this alone. Again, the good things, because I don't want you to leave here just, feel. And I did. I beat you up. I beat you up. But I think it's some of what you need to hear. Some of it you needed to hear. Some of it you needed to hear. And funny enough, your mother got a mean streak in her. Like, you think she's really mean, and she got a mean streak in her. So do you. When you are her. There's some parts about her, you are her. When you say, I ain't kissing her and I ain't hugging her, and you're doing those things, why? Because you know those things hurt her. So you're willingly hurting her to try to get back at her. She threatened to take the insurance off of the car. Why? Because she knew it would hurt you. Y'all, battling. Good things, though. You got your school thing going on. So I'm glad. I'm really proud of you that you actually, that school seemed like a real issue for you at some point. You was having a little rough go at it. I'm glad to see that you are on to, you got the vision. You can see the forest through the trees about what it is that you need to do for your life. I'm very proud of you for that. And I'm glad that you got it. And you got it you're still young. 19, you're still young. But I want you, if you're going to be this person, I want you to be self-sufficient. And self-sufficient means not using people around you that you're supposed to care about. That is a bad character flaw. You don't use people, because remember, karma. What comes around goes around. How would you feel if someone cozies up to you and pretends to love you and pretends to be so engulfed in making sure you have what you need, and then walks off and don't speak to you anymore? And I know it's cliche, but put yourself in your mother's shoes. How would you feel if your daughter, once you have a daughter, if your daughter did the exact same things to you that you've done with your mother? How would you feel? How would you feel if you're telling your daughter something and she stands in your face, flat-footed, and goes word for word with you? How would that make you feel? How would you feel if you take on the house and the bills and all of these things and gives your daughter a place to stay, and then upon graduation, she gives you her ass to kiss? How would you feel? That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. I think you need to ask your mother to go to counsel with you. I think you need to ask her to be a part of the council with you. And I definitely think you need to get out of her house immediately. Immediately. By hook or crook. Get out of her house. You work part-time, go work full-time. Find a full-time job. Change that schedule. You can go full-time. You go to school part-time. Just take you a little longer. But I think you need to get out of her house. And I think that if you want to repair the relationship, you should, and you already got a counselor, you're comfortable with the counselor, ask her to participate in the counselor with you. But I think my advice to you, get out of her house. That is my advice. All right. I hope I wasn't too, well, no, I'm Italian. I was harsh. I was harsh. But I think you needed to hear it. Anyway, all right, baby. Thank you so much for writing in. I appreciate it. Listen, if anybody, you have something that you want to say, and it could be about anything. It could be about anything. If I feel I'm qualified or have lived a piece of life that allows me to be able to share, then I will. If it's way out of my wheelhouse, then I will do something different. But some of this stuff, this was one of the deeper ones, but I walked a lot of this walk. So listen, this is what you can do. You can send me an email to spillitboy@gmail.com, or you can actually write me, if you like, and send it to my P.O. Box, which would be at James Colwell, that's Colwell, and that's P.O. Box 99432. That's Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania 15233. And maybe your letter will end up on the show as well. Listen, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, Spill It Boy out. Ask me anything at all. I got the answers. Open your mouth. Say what's on your mind. Anything at all. Open your mouth. Say what's on your mind.